We couldn't wait to find out the gender of our twins, so at just 7 weeks, we tried the SneakPeek gender predictor test. But here's the thing most people don't realize. When you're having twins, the results work, well, a little bit differently. In this video, I'll walk you through how the test works with twins, our exact experience taking it, and whether or not it was accurate when we finally got the official results back from our OBGYN. So before I share our exact experience, let's quickly go over how the SneakPeek test actually works, and how it's different when you're expecting multiples. SneakPeek, and another test called Peekaboo, work by collecting blood from the mom. Once the laboratory actually receives the blood, they analyze the fetal DNA that's floating around inside of the mother's blood. They're looking for presence of the Y or the male chromosome. If they happen to find Y DNA, that means there's at least one boy in there. If they don't, then either it's too early to detect or you're only having girls. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But here's the catch when you're having twins. Unlike more advanced blood tests that your OBGYN can order, like the Natera Panorama for example, which can actually separate out the baby's DNA, SneakPeek doesn't have that ability. It can't say, baby A is a boy and baby B is a girl. All it can say is whether there's male DNA present. So let's say you're pregnant with one boy and one girl. Because there's male DNA in the mix, your SneakPeek result will come back as boy. It has no way of telling you that the other one is a girl, which can be disappointing to some people. Honestly, this is really important to understand because a lot of parents of twins are surprised when they get their results. Now, let me tell you how it went for us. Like a lot of parents, we were just dying to know as soon as possible. Even though, of course, we would have been happy with either gender, I'll be real, we were hoping for at least one girl. So when it came time to actually do the test, I was mentally preparing myself for it to say boy, because, again, with twins, it only takes one boy to deliver a boy result. It's just more likely. In our case, we did the test at exactly 7 weeks. SneakPeek says you can technically test as early as 6 weeks, but we decided to wait that extra week to give it a better chance of being accurate, especially since we were having twins and we knew that detecting fetal DNA might be a little bit trickier. We also didn't pay for the rush shipping, which, if I remember right, I believe was around $20 to $40, somewhere in there. So I think once we actually shipped it, it took just about a week from when we mailed it in to when the results finally came back. And oh my gosh, I'll never forget sitting down to watch that little video they send you when you get the results. It was honestly like the most dramatic, drawn-out build-up. It was like, get ready for joy, prepare for happiness. And we're just sitting there like hearts racing, expected to finally say what the freaking gender is. And it drags on for over a minute before revealing the result. It was such a tease. Finally, it pops up. It's a girl. And we were absolutely shocked because we were not expecting it at all. My first gut reaction was, okay, maybe we just, tested too early and it just didn't pick up the boy DNA yet. That's because when you're having twins, you actually have less fetal DNA from each individual baby floating around the mom's bloodstream, even though you have more total overall. So if you test right at the very beginning, like we did at 7 weeks, there's a chance it can miss the boy DNA, especially if only one of them is a boy. We actually thought about retesting a week later, but at that point, we were only a couple weeks away from our official NIPT test through our OBGYN, so we decided to just wait it out and see what the more advanced testing said. So, was SneakPeek accurate? At our 10-week appointment, we did the Natera Panorama test, which is one of the few NIPT tests designed for multiples. The cool thing about the Panorama is that it can actually analyze each baby separately, so you don't just get a generic boy or girl result. You find out the gender of each individual twin. And when those results came back, SneakPeek had been absolutely right. We're having identical twin girls. Oh yeah, that's actually another nice thing about the Panorama. It can tell you whether they're fraternal or identical twins. Looking back, I'd say SneakPeek was definitely worth doing, but if you're a twin parent thinking about it, I'd strongly recommend waiting until at least 7 weeks, maybe even 8, just to give it the best possible chance of picking up DNA if there's a boy in the mix. And maybe this goes without saying, but be extra careful not to contaminate your sample with any male DNA, since even the tiniest trace can throw the whole thing off. And I just want to throw this out there for peace of mind. SneakPeek does have a refund policy. If the results end up being wrong, you can request your money back once the baby's born. I honestly don't think this happens super often. It really is pretty accurate, but it's nice to know you could get your money back if it's wrong. Now that I think about it, I actually don't know how they honor it with twins, to be perfectly honest. I mean, if you had one of each, you could, if you were unethical, say that it was the opposite gender. I'm not going to advocate for that, but yeah, I don't know how it works with twins, but I know for singletons at least, you can get your money back if the test is wrong. So that's our story with SneakPeek, how it works when you're expecting twins, and how it lined up with the official results. If you're curious about trying it yourself, hopefully this gives you a good idea of what to expect. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. And if you want to follow along with more of our twin pregnancy journey, make sure to subscribe. I've got a lot more videos coming about everything we've learned along the way. Thanks for watching and have an incredible day.